Captain Brody Torrance.
I like this guy.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2023 action thriller Plane. The film is directed by Jean-Francois Riquet and it stars Gerard Butler, Mike Coulter, Jonson Ann, Paul Ben Victor, and we also have Tony Goldwyn. Right, the film focuses on a flight. Now, the flight is going from... I can't remember where it's going, to be honest. I think it's going to Tokyo or something like that. It doesn't really matter. Gerard Butler is a guy called Brody Torrance. He is the captain of the airplane. They end up... I think he's got 14 passengers, and he's got, like, his crew. He's got his co-pilot and air hostesses and all this kind of stuff. And they hit some weather. Some really serious weather in this plane, which forces them. I think the plane struck by lightning, shuts everything down, and they are forced to crash land on like some island, like way off course. Now, this island, they land on this island, and this island is inhabited by criminals, people. The wrong side of the law. These are the sort of people that will kidnap anybody they can get their hands on and demand ransoms. Not very nice people at all. So Gerard Butler has to try and keep his passengers safe and try and figure out a way off this island. However, there is another passenger called Louis, who is at the beginning of the film. He's put on the plane. He's a prisoner. He's been transported back. He's been captured for homicide. He's killed somebody. So Gerard Butler has to befriend this guy and hope that he can help him get out of the situation that they're in on this island. Right. What are my thoughts on Plane? Well, at first glance, and when I first saw this trailer, I don't know when it was, certainly a good few weeks ago now, it looked to me like to be another well-polished, well-made, fairly solid Gerard Butler action film. And really, that's exactly what it is. It is exactly what I expected it to be, this film. Maybe even slightly better than I expected it to be. I thought it was going to be like quite a run-of-the-mill film, certainly from looking at the trailer. And the trailer, while it doesn't exactly give everything away, it kind of gives you a real flavour for what to expect when you watch this film. And ultimately, I thought this film was quite enjoyable. It's a fun experience in the cinema. Gerard Butler has proven time and time again that he can shoulder these films and be the head honcho, if you like, in these type of films. You know what I mean? He does it effortlessly now. He does it over and over again. Some of them are a little bit hit and miss, and I think but I think for the most part, he does a pretty decent job with these films, and they are generally really quite watchable. And this is certainly one of them. I think the idea here, one of the strengths of this film is the setup. It spends a good, the first 20, 25 minutes or so is essentially, Gerard Butler getting on the plane, the passengers getting on the plane. You get like, the passengers are slowly introduced, so you get like a flavour of the kind of personalities that they are. You get some that aren't particularly patient, you get some that are quite nice, pleasant. But you get an idea of all these passengers, these 14 passengers, what personalities they're all going to come as, And then you get the added mix of this prisoner being added on the plane, Gerard Butler having a chat to his co-pilot, the air hostesses doing their thing, and it's quite relaxed, you know what I mean? The plane takes off, a few minutes in the air, then they hit the weather. So it takes its time to settle down, this film, and I thought it was a really strong opening, you know what I mean? Because you felt like these were genuine, real people. You felt like Gerard Butler had been flying airlines for, decades almost, you know what I mean? He was old hat at it, he was a veteran, knew what he was doing, very relaxed about the whole process. He's going to see his daughter, everything good to look forward to. And it does it really well. And then, like I say, you get the plane crash, and that's pretty exciting stuff, you know what I mean? Edge of the seat stuff. panic stations, where they're going to land, all this kind of stuff, you know. And then they get on this island, and then a whole new problem arises. You know, they don't know if they know where to look for them, because there's something like there's a 1,000-mile radius, search radius. They could be anywhere, so he has to figure a way of getting a message to the airlines. At the same time, navigating his way through, you know, all these criminals on this island, and getting his passengers back who've been taken hostage. And from then on, it goes like full-on action. And he teams up with, you know, Mike Coulter's character. Now, if Mike Coulter looks familiar and you're used to watching the Marvel TV shows that were on Netflix, he played Luke Cage in the Luke Cage TV show. And actually, you know, he does pretty well here. You know what I mean? He's a big guy. He comes with military experience in the film. And him and Gerard Butler work really quite well together. Gerard Butler's playing like the everyman almost thing, you know, just kind of getting out of each situation by the skin of his teeth, and you're really rooting for him. And then you've got this other guy, this big butch guy, teaming up with him, who kind of knows what he's doing and is using brute force. So it gets quite exciting. There's some good action scenes. There's a little, you know, these criminals on this island mean business. There's some very brutal scenes, so that you know that these aren't to be trifled with, sort of thing. And then you get the usual trope that they put in films like this. The scene back at base, sort of thing, the airlines. They bring like this expert, who's played by Tony Goldwyn, on board to try and figure out what they're going to do next. So the film kind of flits back and forth between the situation on the ground with Gerard Butler and the airline passengers and things like that, and then it kind of flips back occasionally to this boardroom with people deciding what they're going to do next, sort of thing, and then being warned off by the Tony Goldwyn character. You see it all the time in movies like this. You could argue it's a tired trope, but they don't spend too much time there when they're back in the boardroom. It's just long enough, I suppose, to add, to the plot line. And while it does get a little bit melodramatic here and there, there's a couple of scenes right at the end with Gerard Butler's daughter kind of, you know, speaking all emotional into some, I don't know, filming herself, I think she was, you know, trying to say goodbye to her dad and all that kind of stuff. And so there are a handful of moments where you're a bit like, it's a bit melodramatic. But for the most part, I think this is a pretty good film, and it works. It's fun to watch. There's good action scenes in it. There's some good tension, and I think the character of Gerard Butler, this Brody Torrance, has potential. If this film does particularly well, you could see there being a sequel. Although if he crashes another plane, I'm not sure how many people would want to get on a plane with him again going forward. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by this one. I thought it was just going to be a fairly generic run-of-the-mill action film. And while there are some that may argue, well, that's exactly what it is, I think it rises above that, I think it's a little bit more entertaining, and certainly better than I expected it to be. So check it out, guys. If you're a fan of Gerard Butler, or anything of what I've mentioned sounds interesting to you, you'll probably enjoy it. So thanks for watching. I'll be back with more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.